Fabrizio Romano drops Garnacho bombshell. Chelsea want United star this summer. Welcome to Unite United News, your #1 destination for the most reliable and comprehensive Manchester United coverage. When the football world is buzzing with rumors and speculation, we cut through the noise to bring you the facts that matter most. Our dedicated team works tirelessly to ensure you receive accurate, timely, and insightful analysis of everything happening at Old Trafford and beyond. Today, we tackle one of the most shocking transfer stories to emerge this summer. A story that could change the landscape of Manchester United's squad and leave fans questioning everything they thought they knew about the club's future plans. The transfer shock that has United fans stunned. Imagine scrolling through your social media feed on what seems like an ordinary day, only to be hit with news that stops you dead in your tracks. That's exactly what happened when Fabrizio Romano, the most trusted voice in football transfers, dropped a bombshell that has sent shockwaves through the Manchester United community. Chelsea want Alejandro Garnacho. According to Romano, there is a genuine possibility for this transfer to happen this summer. These are not just idle rumors or media speculation. This is concrete information from the journalist who has built his reputation on getting transfer news right when others get it wrong. But how did we get here? How has one of United's brightest young talents, a player who seemed destined to be a key part of the club's future, suddenly become a target for their London rivals? And more importantly, what does this mean for Manchester United's plans and the player's own career trajectory? The story of Garnacho's potential move to Chelsea is about much more than just one transfer. It's about modern football economics, player ambitions, tactical fit, and the brutal reality of how quickly things can change in the world of elite football. Let's dive deep into this developing story and examine every angle that United fans need to understand. Who is Alejandro Garnacho and why do Chelsea want him? Before we explore the implications of Chelsea's interest, let's remind ourselves exactly why Alejandro Garnacho has become such a sought-after player in European football. The young Argentine winger has been one of the few bright sparks in what has been a challenging period for Manchester United. Garnacho burst onto the scene at Old Trafford with a combination of pace, skill, and fearlessness that immediately caught the attention of fans and pundits alike. His ability to take on defenders, create chances from wide positions, and contribute goals has made him one of the most exciting young players in the Premier League. At just 20 years old, Garnacho has already shown he can perform at the highest level of English football. His pace and direct running style make him a constant threat to opposition defenses, while his work rate and commitment have endeared him to United supporters who have been crying out for players who show genuine passion for the club. But what makes Garnacho so attractive to a club like Chelsea? The answer lies in several key factors that make him an ideal target for the London club's current project and tactical approach. First, there's his age and potential for development. At 20, Garnacho is entering what should be the most important phase of his career development. He has already proven he can compete at Premier League level, but he still has room to grow and improve significantly. For a club like Chelsea, which has built its recent strategy around investing in young talent, Garnacho represents exactly the type of player they want to target. Second, his versatility makes him valuable in modern football. Garnacho can play on either wing and has shown the ability to adapt to different tactical systems. This flexibility would give Chelsea's manager more options when setting up his team and allow them to change their approach during games. Third, his proven Premier League experience eliminates many of the risks associated with signing young players from other leagues. Garnacho has already adapted to the pace and physicality of English football, so there would be no lengthy adjustment period required. The Romano factor, why this news matters. When Fabrizio Romano speaks, the football world listens. The Italian journalist has built an unparalleled reputation for accuracy in transfer reporting, and his sources within the game are second to none. So when Romano says Chelsea want Garnacho and there's a possibility of a summer move, United fans should take this seriously. Romano's track record speaks for itself. Time and again, he has broken major transfer stories before anyone else and provided accurate updates throughout complex negotiations. His famous "here we go" phrase has become synonymous with confirmed transfers, and his analysis is sought after by fans of every major club. The fact that Romano is reporting Chelsea's interest as a genuine possibility rather than just speculation, suggests there is real substance behind this story. He wouldn't risk his reputation by promoting a story unless he had reliable information from trusted sources within the clubs involved. But Romano's report also raises important questions about the current state of affairs at Manchester United. Why would the club even consider selling one of their most promising young players to a direct rival? What does this say about United's long-term planning and their commitment to building around young talent? The timing of Romano's revelation is also significant. We are in the middle of the transfer window, when clubs are actively working on deals and assessing their squads for the upcoming season. This is not a random story planted by agents or media looking for clicks. This appears to be genuine interest from Chelsea, backed by the possibility of real action. Why would United even consider selling Garnacho? This is perhaps the most difficult question for United fans to grapple with. On the surface, selling Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea makes no sense whatsoever. He is young, talented, improving, and represents exactly the type of player United should be building their future around. However, modern football operates according to complex financial and strategic considerations that sometimes force clubs to make decisions that seem counterintuitive to supporters. Let's examine the possible reasons why United might entertain offers for Garnacho. Financial fair play regulations have become increasingly important in determining transfer activity for all major clubs. United have spent significant money this summer on players like Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, and they may need to balance their books through player sales. Garnacho, as a young player with proven Premier League experience, would command a substantial fee that could help fund other transfer activities. This connection between selling Garnacho and buying a striker has become even more relevant with recent reports about United's striking targets. The club are currently weighing up moves for both Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa and Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig as their next striker signing. United sources have acknowledged they are prepared to move for a more experienced striker, but they need the financial resources to make such deals happen. The money from selling Garnacho to Chelsea could be the key that unlocks United's pursuit of either Watkins or Sesko. With Watkins expected to command a sizable fee and Sesko valued at around £60 million, United would need significant funds to complete either deal. The club are also still aiming to obtain fees for other forwards like Antony and Jadon Sancho, but Garnacho would likely command the highest price and provide the most immediate financial boost. There's also the question of squad planning and tactical fit under Ruben Amorim. The Portuguese manager has his own ideas about how he wants his team to play, and it's possible that Garnacho doesn't fit perfectly into those plans. If Amorim believes he can get better performances from other players in wide positions, the club might be willing to cash in on Garnacho's value. Contract negotiations could also be a factor. If Garnacho and his representatives are demanding wages or terms that United are uncomfortable with, the club might decide it's better to sell now rather than risk losing him for nothing when his contract expires or having an unhappy player in the squad. Competition for places is another consideration. United have invested in other attacking players, and if the manager believes there isn't enough game time for everyone, moving on some players might make sense from a squad management perspective. Finally, there's the brutal reality of modern football economics. If Chelsea are willing to pay a fee that United consider too good to refuse, the club might decide that the financial benefit outweighs the sporting loss, especially if they believe they can reinvest the money more effectively elsewhere. Chelsea's transfer strategy. Why Garnacho fits perfectly. To understand why Chelsea want Garnacho, we need to examine their recent transfer strategy and how the Argentine fits into their broader plans. Under their current ownership, Chelsea have adopted a clear approach to recruitment that prioritizes young, talented players with high potential. The London club has been willing to spend significant money on players who fit this profile, believing that investing in youth will provide better long-term value than signing established stars who are already at their peak. Garnacho represents exactly this type of investment opportunity. Chelsea's tactical system would also suit Garnacho's playing style. The club often uses formations that require pace and creativity in wide positions, areas where the United winger excels. His ability to beat defenders one-on-one and create chances would add a new dimension to Chelsea's attack. The competitive aspect cannot be ignored either. Signing a key player from Manchester United would not only strengthen Chelsea's squad, but also weaken a direct rival. In the context of Premier League competition, Where small margins often decide final league positions, this dual benefit makes the move even more attractive. Chelsea's recent history with young players also suggests they would be willing to give Garnacho the playing time and development opportunities he needs to reach his potential. The club has shown faith in young talents and provided pathways to first-team football for players who prove themselves worthy. From a commercial perspective, Garnacho would also be valuable to Chelsea. Young, exciting players generate fan interest, merchandise sales, and global attention. The Argentine's playing style and personality would likely make him popular with Chelsea supporters, providing benefits beyond just his on-field contributions. The player's perspective, what would Garnacho think? Any potential transfer ultimately depends on the player's own desires and career ambitions. So what might Alejandro Garnacho be thinking about the possibility of joining Chelsea, and how might he weigh up the pros and cons of such a move? From Garnacho's perspective, a move to Chelsea could offer several attractive benefits. The London club has a recent history of success in major competitions, including Champions League victories and domestic trophies. For a young player with ambitions to win major honors, this track record might be appealing. Playing time considerations would also be important. If Garnacho feels his opportunities at United are limited or that he isn't being used in his preferred role, a move to a club where he might be guaranteed more regular football could be tempting. The tactical system at Chelsea might also suit his playing style better than what he experiences at United. Different managers have different approaches, and it's possible that Garnacho believes he would be more effective in Chelsea's setup. Financial considerations cannot be ignored either. If Chelsea are willing to offer significantly better personal terms than what Garnacho currently earns at United, this could influence his thinking, especially given the relatively short career span of professional footballers. However, there are also strong reasons why Garnacho might want to stay at United. He came through the club's academy system and has established himself as a fan favorite. There's something special about succeeding at the club where you developed as a player, and many young talents value this connection. The opportunity to be part of United's rebuilding process under Ruben Amorim could also be appealing. Being a key player in the club's return to success would bring personal satisfaction and career prestige that might outweigh other considerations. How United fans are reacting. The news of Chelsea's interest in Garnacho has provoked a range of reactions from Manchester United supporters, reflecting the complex emotions that such stories inevitably generate. Understanding these fan reactions provides insight into how the United community views both the player and the club's current direction. Many fans are expressing outright disbelief and anger at the possibility of selling Garnacho to Chelsea. They see him as one of the few bright spots in recent seasons and cannot understand why the club would even consider letting him go to a direct rival. These supporters view Garnacho as representing the future of United and believe selling him would be a massive mistake. Other fans are taking a more pragmatic approach, acknowledging that modern football sometimes requires difficult decisions. They understand that if Chelsea are offering a substantial fee, United might need to consider it as part of their broader squad building and financial planning. These supporters trust that the club's leadership knows what they're doing, even if individual decisions seem questionable. There's also a group of fans who are questioning what the story says about United's current ambitions and direction. They worry that being willing to sell promising young players to rivals suggests the club is no longer thinking like a top-tier team that should be competing for the biggest prizes. Some supporters are focusing on the player himself, expressing disappointment if Garnacho would genuinely consider leaving United for Chelsea. They feel that players who come through the academy system should have more loyalty to the club and shouldn't be tempted by offers from rivals. The diversity of reactions reflects the uncertainty that many United fans feel about the club's current trajectory. After years of mixed results and questionable transfer decisions, supporters are unsure whether to trust the club's judgment or to fear the worst when stories like this emerge. The financial implications. Understanding the potential financial aspects of a Garnacho transfer requires examining both the immediate and long-term implications for Manchester United. The numbers involved could be substantial and would have significant impacts on the club's transfer strategy and financial planning. Given Garnacho's age, Premier League experience, and potential, any transfer fee would likely be in the range of £40 to £60 million, or potentially even higher if Chelsea are desperate to secure his services. This would represent a substantial windfall for United, especially considering the player came through their academy system at minimal cost. Such a fee would give United significant spending power in the transfer market, potentially allowing them to target established stars or multiple players to strengthen different areas of the squad. The money could fund moves for a new striker, midfielder, or defensive reinforcements that might have seemed financially impossible otherwise. Recent developments have made this connection even clearer. United are currently considering two main striker targets: Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins, who is their preferred option, and RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko. Both players would require substantial transfer fees, with Watkins expected to command a sizable price despite entering the final 2 years of his Villa contract, and Sesko valued at around £60 million. The timing is particularly significant because United sources have acknowledged they are prepared to move for a more experienced striker after missing out on their first-choice target Liam Delap, who chose Chelsea over United. However, completing deals for players like Watkins or Sesko requires substantial financial resources, which selling Garnacho could provide. United are also trying to generate funds through the sales of other players, including Antony and Jadon Sancho, but Garnacho would likely represent their most valuable asset and could provide the immediate cash injection needed to secure their striker target before the transfer window closes. However, the financial calculation isn't just about the immediate transfer fee. United would also be losing a valuable asset whose worth could continue to increase over time. If Garnacho develops as expected, he could become worth significantly more than whatever Chelsea pays now, meaning United would be missing out on future value. There are also the hidden costs of replacing Garnacho to consider. Finding another winger with similar qualities and potential would likely require a substantial investment, possibly negating much of the financial benefit from selling him in the first place. The wage implications are worth considering too. Garnacho's current salary is probably relatively modest compared to United's highest earners. If the club replaces him with an established star, the wage costs could be significantly higher, impacting the club's long-term financial flexibility. Tactical analysis: how Garnacho would fit at Chelsea. From a purely tactical perspective, analyzing how Garnacho might fit into Chelsea's system provides insights into why the London club are interested and whether the move would benefit the player's development. Chelsea typically employ formations that require pace and creativity in wide positions, areas where Garnacho has consistently excelled during his time at United. His ability to stretch defenses, create width, and provide direct attacking threat would add a valuable dimension to Chelsea's forward line. The Argentine's pace would be particularly valuable in Chelsea's tactical approach. The London club often look to play quick, counter-attacking football, and having a winger who can exploit space behind opposition defenses would enhance this aspect of their game significantly. Garnacho's crossing ability and final ball delivery would also complement Chelsea's attacking players. His willingness to get to the byline and deliver quality crosses could create more scoring opportunities for the club's strikers and attacking midfielders. Defensively, Garnacho has shown good work rate and commitment to tracking back, qualities that would be essential in Chelsea's system. Modern wing play requires players to contribute both offensively and defensively, and the United winger has demonstrated he can handle these dual responsibilities. The tactical flexibility that Garnacho offers would also be valuable to Chelsea's manager. His ability to play on either flank gives the team options for different formations and allows for tactical adjustments during games based on how the match is developing. However, there might also be tactical challenges for Garnacho at Chelsea. Different clubs have different expectations and playing styles, and it would take time for him to fully adapt to new teammates, coaching methods, and tactical demands. The striker connection: how Garnacho's sale could fund United's next big signing. The potential sale of Garnacho to Chelsea becomes even more significant when viewed in the context of United's current transfer priorities. Recent reports have revealed that the club are actively weighing up moves for two specific striker targets, and the money from selling Garnacho could be crucial in making either deal happen. United have identified Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins as their preferred striker target, with Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig also under serious consideration. Both players represent significant investments that would require substantial transfer fees, making the financial aspect of any Garnacho sale directly relevant to United's striking ambitions. Watkins, who turns 30 in December, has proven himself as one of the Premier League's most reliable goal scorers over the past few seasons. The England international has scored 75 goals in 184 Premier League games and has been a consistent performer for Villa. Sources suggest he would be open to joining United, but Villa would demand a sizable fee for their key player. Sesko represents a different type of investment, younger at 22 but with immense potential and already proven at European level with RB Leipzig. The Slovenian striker is under contract until 2029, meaning Leipzig can demand a premium price for his services, with valuations around the £60 million mark. The connection between selling Garnacho and buying a striker is not just theoretical. It's a practical necessity given United's financial constraints after spending £133.5 million on Mateus Cunha and Brian Bumo earlier this summer. The club need to balance their books while still strengthening key areas of the squad. The potential departure of Garnacho would have significant implications for Manchester United's squad planning and tactical setup for the upcoming season. Understanding these implications helps explain why the club might be considering such a move. Losing Garnacho would create a significant gap in United's wide attacking options. The club would need to identify suitable replacements or adjust their tactical approach to compensate for his absence. This could mean promoting other young players from the academy or pursuing alternative targets in the transfer market. The financial windfall from selling Garnacho could allow United to strengthen other areas of the squad that might be considered higher priorities. If Ruben Amorim believes the team needs improvement in central positions more than wide areas, redirecting funds toward a striker or midfielder might make strategic sense. There's also the question of squad balance and development pathways for other young players. If Garnacho leaves, it might create opportunities for other academy graduates or young signings to establish themselves in the first team, potentially benefiting the club's long-term development plans. The move could also reflect Amorim's tactical preferences and his vision for how he wants United to play. If the Portuguese manager prefers a different type of winger or wants to use a formation that doesn't rely heavily on traditional wide players, selling Garnacho might align with his broader strategic plans. However, losing a player of Garnacho's quality and potential would undoubtedly weaken United's squad in the short term. The club would need to be confident that any replacement or tactical adjustment would provide equivalent or better value to justify such a decision. The broader context of Premier League transfers. The potential Garnacho transfer should be viewed within the broader context of how Premier League clubs operate in the modern transfer market. Understanding these dynamics helps explain why such moves happen and what they mean for the competitive landscape. Premier League clubs increasingly view player trading as a crucial part of their business model. Developing young talents and selling them at the right time can provide substantial profits that fund further squad improvements. From this perspective, selling Garnacho could be seen as smart business rather than a sporting mistake. The competitive balance between Premier League clubs also plays a role. If Chelsea can strengthen their squad by signing a key United player, it potentially improves their chances of finishing higher in the league while simultaneously weakening a direct rival. These zero-sum calculations are increasingly important in modern football. Financial fair play regulations have also changed how clubs approach transfers. Teams need to balance their books and show sustainable financial management, which sometimes means selling valuable assets even when they would prefer to keep them purely for sporting reasons. The globalization of football has also created a market where top young players command enormous fees. Clubs that develop talented players through their academies can generate significant revenues by selling them, providing funds to improve other areas of their squads. Historical precedents. When United sold to rivals. Looking at Manchester United's history of selling players to direct rivals provides context for understanding how such moves typically work out and what lessons might apply to the Garnacho situation. United have previously sold players to rival clubs, with mixed results for all parties involved. Some moves have worked out well for the buying club while proving costly mistakes for United, while others have had the opposite outcome. These historical examples provide valuable lessons about the risks and benefits of such transfers. The emotional impact on fans when United sell players to rivals is always significant. Supporters struggle to understand why the club would strengthen direct competitors, especially when the players involved are popular or seen as representing the club's future. However, some historical sales have ultimately proven beneficial for United, either because the players didn't fulfill their potential elsewhere, or because the money received was reinvested more effectively. This historical perspective suggests that immediate fan reactions don't always predict long-term outcomes. The success or failure of such moves often depends on how well both clubs use the transfer. If United reinvest the Garnacho money wisely while Chelsea fail to get the best out of the player, the move could ultimately benefit United despite initial appearances. The agent factor and modern football politics. The role of agents and representatives in modern football transfers cannot be underestimated, and understanding these dynamics is crucial for analyzing the Garnacho situation. Player representatives often play key roles in generating interest from other clubs and facilitating moves that benefit their clients. If Garnacho's representatives believe a move to Chelsea would advance his career or improve his financial situation, they might be actively encouraging interest from the London club. Agents have extensive networks and relationships that allow them to explore opportunities and gauge interest from multiple clubs simultaneously. The timing of transfer stories often reflects behind-the-scenes maneuvering by agents and clubs. Romano's report about Chelsea's interest might be part of a broader strategy to create momentum for a move or to encourage United to offer improved terms to keep the player. Modern football politics also involve complex relationships between clubs, with transfers sometimes influenced by factors beyond pure sporting or financial considerations. The broader relationship between United and Chelsea, their respective transfer strategies, and their competitive positioning all play roles in determining whether such a move might happen. What United should do. Strategic recommendations. From a strategic perspective, Manchester United face a complex decision about how to handle Chelsea's interest in Garnacho. The choice they make could have significant implications for their short-term competitiveness and long-term development plans. If United genuinely believe Garnacho doesn't fit into Amorim's tactical plans, or if they have identified superior alternatives, selling him for a substantial fee could make sense. The key would be ensuring that any money received is reinvested wisely in areas that would provide greater overall benefit to the squad. However, if Garnacho remains part of United's long-term vision, the club should resist Chelsea's interest regardless of the fee offered. Young, talented players who can contribute for many years are extremely valuable, and selling them to direct rivals rarely proves beneficial in the long run. The club should also consider the message that selling Garnacho would send to other young players in their academy system. If promising talents believe they might be sold to rivals just as they're establishing themselves, it could discourage future generations from committing to United's development pathway. Any decision should also factor in fan sentiment and the broader impact on club morale. Selling a popular young player to Chelsea would inevitably anger supporters and could damage the relationship between fans and the club's leadership. The player development perspective. From a player development standpoint, the question of whether Garnacho should move to Chelsea involves complex considerations about what would be best for his career progression and long-term success. Staying at United would allow Garnacho to continue developing in a familiar environment where he has already proven himself capable of performing at Premier League level. The continuity of remaining at one club during crucial developmental years can be valuable for young players. However, a move to Chelsea might expose Garnacho to different coaching methods, tactical systems, and competitive pressures that could accelerate his development. Sometimes players benefit from new challenges and environments that push them to improve different aspects of their game. The level of competition at Chelsea might also influence Garnacho's development. If he faces greater competition for places, it could motivate him to work harder and reach higher levels of performance. Alternatively, if he gets more regular playing time, it could aid his development through increased match experience. The coaching staff and development programs at both clubs would also be factors in determining what might be best for Garnacho's progression. Different clubs have different approaches to developing young talent, and the fit between player and system can significantly impact outcomes. Media speculation versus reality. As this story continues to develop, it's important to distinguish between media speculation and genuine transfer developments. The football media landscape is filled with stories that range from well-sourced reporting to pure speculation designed to generate clicks and engagement. Romano's involvement in breaking this story adds credibility, given his track record for accuracy. However, even reliable journalists sometimes report genuine interest that doesn't ultimately result in completed transfers. The gap between clubs wanting players and actually signing them can be substantial. United fans should be cautious about overreacting to every development in this story. Transfer negotiations are complex processes that can change rapidly based on numerous factors. What seems likely one day might become impossible the next due to changing circumstances. The club's official communications and actions will ultimately be more revealing than media reports. If United genuinely want to keep Garnacho, they will likely take steps to secure his long-term future at Old Trafford. If they're open to selling, their behavior in negotiations will reflect this position. The summer transfer window context. The timing of this story within the broader summer transfer window context is significant for understanding how likely a move might be and what factors could influence the outcome. With several weeks still remaining in the transfer window, there is theoretically time for complex negotiations to develop and reach completion. However, major transfers involving established players often require extensive negotiations that can take weeks or months to finalize. Both clubs' other transfer activities will also influence their approach to any Garnacho negotiations. If Chelsea complete other attacking signings, their interest might diminish. Similarly, if United secure their other transfer targets, they might be more willing to consider offers for Garnacho. The financial implications of other transfers completed by both clubs will also be relevant. Transfer spending is interconnected, with clubs needing to balance their overall expenditure and comply with financial regulations. The competitive calendar also creates pressure for clubs to complete their squad building before the season begins in earnest. Neither United nor Chelsea would want to enter the new campaign with unresolved transfer situations affecting key players. Conclusion. A story that could define United's direction. The revelation that Chelsea want Alejandro Garnacho represents more than just another transfer story. It symbolizes the complex challenges facing Manchester United as they try to balance financial realities with sporting ambitions while building for both the present and the future. Fabrizio Romano's confirmation that there is a genuine possibility of this move happening this summer has transformed what might have been mere speculation into a serious situation that United's leadership must address. The club's response to Chelsea's interest will reveal much about their priorities and long-term vision. For United fans, this story raises fundamental questions about the club's direction and ambitions. Are they building a team capable of challenging for major honors? Or are they primarily focused on financial sustainability even if it means selling promising players to rivals? The answer to this question will significantly influence how supporters view the club's leadership and strategy. The potential loss of Garnacho would represent more than just losing a talented player. It would mean losing a symbol of hope for the future, a player who represented the possibility that United could develop their own stars rather than constantly buying from other clubs. The emotional impact on supporters should not be underestimated. However, modern football operates according to complex economic and strategic realities that sometimes force difficult decisions. If United believe they can use the money from selling Garnacho to build a stronger overall squad, the move might ultimately prove beneficial despite initial fan disappointment. The coming weeks will be crucial in determining how this story develops. Chelsea's willingness to meet United's valuation, Garnacho's own preferences, and United's strategic priorities will all play roles in determining the final outcome. Whatever happens, this situation has already provided valuable insights into how United operate in the modern transfer market and what their priorities truly are. The club's handling of Chelsea's interest will be closely watched by fans, players, and rivals alike as an indicator of their ambitions and decision-making processes. For Garnacho himself, this represents a career-defining moment. The choices he makes now could determine the trajectory of his professional life for years to come. Whether he stays at United to continue his development or moves to Chelsea for new challenges, the decision will have lasting implications. As we continue to monitor this developing story, one thing is certain. The outcome will have significant implications for Manchester United's squad, their relationship with supporters, and their competitive prospects for the upcoming season and beyond. Thank you for choosing Unite United News as your trusted source for the most comprehensive and reliable Manchester United coverage available. We remain committed to bringing you accurate reporting, thoughtful analysis, and the insider insights that help you understand what's really happening at your club. Keep following us for continued updates on this story and all other United developments. Because when the biggest stories break, we're here to help you make sense of what it all means for our beloved Red Devils.